Welcome back to Uncut Hawaii. I'm Kobe.
And I'm Andrew. This is the podcast where we talk to Hawaii's inspirational and innovative creators, change makers, and entrepreneurs.
And today we have an amazing guest. Kainoa Carlson is an Emmy-award winning journalist and TV host of one of Hawaii's most popular TV shows, Hi Now Daily on Hawaii News Now. Kainoa was born and raised in Kaneohe, graduated from Punahou in 2007. Played football at the University of Hawaii under head coach Greg McMacken and has been working in television for over a decade. Kainoa is also a dad of 2 boys, 2 under 2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How's that going?
How am I here right now? I haven't slept
You haven't
days.
slept yet. I know the feeling. Nah,
I know, we're all sleep deprived.
I'm grateful. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's so
Well,
nice to be able to ask you the questions.
I know,
We
yeah.
see you asking everybody else the questions.
Well, mahalo so much for having me. And we were talking earlier. I wanted to tell you guys congrats to being in this
Thank
space
you.
over here at Central Pacific Bank and seeing what Uncut Hawaii is turning into. And it's interesting, when CPB first opened this specific location, Kaneohe, Gibson, and I came here as part of Hi Now to kind of see how this space was going to be utilized and to see this particular spot being utilized this way is basically like the coming to fruition of what they wanted it to be. So congrats to you and well done, CPB.
Yeah,
Nice. Shout out
there's
to
just
CBB.
like
Yeah.
so much buzz. I mean, you can kind of see people walking by like in the shot, but like there's like Starbucks, Aloha Beer. There's just people working, co-working, mingling, and it's a cool vibe around
like
It's a
here.
like
recipe
downtown
for
vibe, yeah.
success, man. Starbucks and Aloha Beer.
I know,
That's-
right? I'm
sign
just
me
here all
up.
day,
Yeah.
morning to happy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk story with us. We like to just like talk with people who we like, people see you on TV every day.
You share other people's stories, so it's like
Yeah.
nice to like sit down with you, share your story, and like how you became this on live television every day.
I
live
know.
show.
That's a whole nother beast because we get to like edit if we make mistakes or whatever, but you're live. Okay, so my first question is, have you ever had like a moment on live TV where you like totally effed up?
Oh, good question. Geez, you know what? Yes. Yeah, and I did, and oh man, it was like one of my big ones too. So recently, oh my gosh, I'm going to announce this publicly for the first time. But yeah, I actually, so what I get a chance to do all the time is I sideline the Polynesian Bowl, which is an
Okay.
incredible
Okay.
game, and that game is broadcast on NFL Network.
Oh, huge.
And that thing is live.
Yeah.
Like that's as live gets. But it was incredible. So after the game, though, we were going over the MVP, defensive MVP for the game, the offensive MVP for the game, like the winners and everything like that. But what was interesting, and I'm sure a lot of the people who run audio, like our friend Gabe over here, can attest to, the mic situation was they didn't realize there was an echo in the stadium. So when I was announcing this year's offensive MVP is that thing was throwing me way off, and I was looking at a guy, and for a quick 5 seconds, I was like, "What is this guy's name right now?" Luckily, yeah, and it was a long one, and I
Like
believe
a-
yeah, and it was like a Nico Maliava was his name, but man, the echo inside the stadium, it was feeding back to me, but I was like, bro, get it together right now. This is NFL
MVP
Network.
player again.
Yeah. And it's like the MVP of the game. But
And
it's
he's like looking at you.
Good evening. Thank you. Tonight's. And I was like, oh man, cameras are rolling. Everyone's there. I was like, oh, get it together. But it ended up working out. We got it. And congrats to Nico Yamaliava on a great game.
It's crazy though, because like you're such a professional, and it's like those things, like even if it happens, like you readjust, and like people don't notice, so
And that's not a hard.
You just expose
that's
yourself.
Not an easy name to say either. It's like the Hawaiian names or whatever, like those tricky names that
Oh,
you could
yeah.
stumble upon.
It's incredible. And it's the Polynesian Bowl.
Yeah, so all the names.
We're talking,
Yeah.
We're talking, yeah, it is top
barely
tier.
fits on the jersey.
Top
tie.
tier
Yeah.
pronunciation level,
Yeah.
you're going to need for that. But that was an incredible one. But that one was small, kind of nerve-wracking. That was live too.
That doesn't sound that bad. That sounds like it was just like a long, suspenseful pause.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, yes, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You're
But you know
good in
how-
the suspense.
Yeah, but you know how too, when you're in it, it feels
Like
so
longer,
Yeah,
much
yeah.
longer.
Right.
And so I went back and we watched the broadcast too, but it was, we had a little laugh on it over some Pauhana beers after. They're like, did you? I was like, I might have, yeah.
So tell us about, let's go back and then, tell us about your journey to getting to be the Emmy award-winning host of this amazing show. Did you always know that you wanted to be in
Was this your dream job?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's incredible now to be where I am living like what I've always wanted to do, which is like incredible, incredibly blessed. But I've been in television now for almost a little over a decade. I'll make 10 years specifically though at Hawaii News Now next year, next April. I make 10 years there. So I think that's the interesting part too, is that so many people are fascinated with High Now Daily and what it's become, and it's been an incredible ride. But it's a culmination of 10 years that you spend day in and day out kind of building toward what you want to get to.
Yep. And even before that, even to get into the newsroom. Yeah.
Exactly. You're talking like free internships. So basically for me, when I first started, I graduated from Punahou, as you mentioned. But when I first started, I went to the University of Hawaii playing football over there. I was under head coach Greg McMackin for 2 seasons. So that was incredible when we tied for the WAC championship back then. And that was an incredible time. And as people know, Hawaii is a different place when the University of Hawaii football team is just performing well. And we had such great players at that time. Colin Kaepernick was at Nevada. We had Greg Salas and Brian Moniz. It was just a good time. But I also looked at the talent pool in the room and was like, okay, I am not going to be able to play that much. The talent was incredible. But so, it was right around my junior year at the University of Hawaii. I started to realize, though, I started kind of seeing more of the sports media angles that were taking place. Nice. We're talking like Rob DeMello, Robert Kekaula, rest in peace, Steve Uihara. All these different guys would come to our practices, right? And I always was fascinated by that. I've always had a love for sports. I grew up playing sports, being around sports my whole entire life. I had 2 older brothers, so, we grew up at the park, at the baseball field, watching football games, watching basketball, watching wrestling. But it was right around my junior year at the University of Hawaii. I really started to think, wow, what a gig that is. To be able to be around sports, talk about sports, write about sports.
Just like live sports pretty much.
Live sports pretty much, which as a college athlete, anyone who's done it, that's what you're doing anyway.
Exactly,
you're enamored with it.
But to get paid to do that?
Like, whoa, dream job. How great would that be? So, it was right over my junior year. And so obviously I started grinding it out like the way many people do. But I'm actually excited to tell this story because I told this a couple weeks back. But so here I am. I graduate from college, and I'm doing some free internships with Na'alehu Anthony guys over at OEV. I don't know if you're familiar with them. So that was a great experience. I went, kind of learned camera work and grip and audio and all these different things. But so 10 years ago, I've got my resume, and I go to an interview off of Craigslist. Craigslist is hiring Hawaii News Now account executive. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, account executive.
Account executive.
Did you even know what that was?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I was looking at the different stations. It was like KHON, KITV, Hawaii News Now. Hawaii News Now account executive, Craigslist. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this thing a try. So I roll over there with my resume. I'm like decked out in the only suit that I have. Yeah. I look like I'm going to a prom. Like I'm like suit, tie, like dress shoes, everything from Ross. Yeah. So I roll in there and I was able to meet the lady who was the lead for sales. So we go in after about half an hour of me and her talking story. We're going over different things and she looks me dead in the eye like 30 minutes and she's like, Kainoa, I got to be honest with you. I was like, what's up? She's like, I'm not going to give you this job. You're not going to get hired. You have no experience. You're not qualified. Like everything on your resume says Punahou, you've got some restaurant jobs, and it's like you're trying to be like an account executive here at Hawaii News Now.
Do you know what that is?
You don't even know what that is. I'm like, I kind of know what it is. I might. But she's like, no, but like after the 30 minutes, I can tell that I like the personality though. I like the vibe. I like talking story with you. And that's when she asked like, what are you really doing here?
Nice.
What are you really doing here? And I said, I have a passion for sports and I'd love to get my foot in the door and figure out whatever this path is going to be toward becoming a sports broadcaster. And she's like, chill out over here for 5 minutes. So I go from thinking like, okay, I'm off the cliff to like, oh, maybe I have a parachute. And now I'm so I'm chilling there for like
what feels like forever.
It feels like forever. And she rolls back in with my resume and she goes, okay, I'm going to introduce you to Rick Blangiardi. Rick Blangiardi is the...
straight to the top.
I'm going to introduce you to Rick Blangiardi, who's our general manager here at Hawaii News Now. I just want you guys meet and talk story. So I said, okay. So I roll in there. So I've now gone from, after 35 minutes of being there, now into the office of really the guy who kind of gave me my jump start in the business. And I'll never forget what he. So he takes my resume It's got Punahou on there. It's got some restaurant jobs. I've been a busboy. I've been a food runner. I've been a
How
bar
are you
back.
feeling at this point? Because you just got called in from like the sales cubicle to like the big boss's office.
Yeah, I think it was kind of good because at that time I was so naive about the situation a little bit because I'm just looking for an opportunity. I had known a little bit about Rick Blangiardi, and the whole time I'm over there, I'm like, Blangiardi. How do I say? Make sure I get this guy's name right. Because she just like went over. Okay, let's go. Let's go meet Rick Blangiardi. I'm like, yes, let's go do that. But so he takes my resume. He looks at my resume. He says, "Okay, I see busboy. I see barback." And he goes, "You know what this tells me?" And I go, "No." He's like, "It tells me that you paid some dues. You paid some dues to be sitting in this chair with me today, having this conversation."
Oh, that's so classic Rick Blangiardi.
And I go, "Oh, whoa, yeah, yes." And so he looks at me and he says, "You know, how old are you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm about 24 years old at the time." He's like, "Man, when I was 24, I wanted an opportunity like that too. So I'm gonna give you a chance today." And so that was my ticket to go downstairs. I started as a production tech.
Wow.
Back in 2014. Teleprompter roller. Fancy word for teleprompter roller. Production tech.
Production tech, yeah.
Teleprompter roller. And I did that, and but that's where I started 10 years ago, and that was my foot in at Hawaii News Now. Came from that.
That's crazy.
I love that story.
Yeah.
I love because you are so just like gung ho and like, yeah, okay, I'll go meet Rick Blangiardi.
He could have told me whatever.
Before that,
Yeah,
even before that, making that call like from that Craigslist ad that you came across, and then like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm just gonna go because it says Hawaii News Now. Like that's such a like a go-getter kind of like mindset, you know?
Yeah. Well, looking back on it now, I'm like, wow. Well, then I think even further back to the lady that I met, and her name was Cheryl Ancia, who was the general sales manager at the time. But she was like, I'm digging the vibe though. So let's like, what are you doing here? Type of a deal. Because she could have
just been like, nah,
easily been like, I mean, you're cool, but this isn't. But it's like that opened the door to this other thing that initially got me down there. So, and I say down there because the news operates on the lower floor at the Hawaii News Now building. But that's what it was.
But it's crazy because it's like, the energy and like your commitment to like, okay, I want to do whatever it takes. She recognized that. And so that's when she was like, hey, we'll take you to the next level.
It's a combination, right? Because they say like success is like a combination of like a little bit of luck, but a little bit of like you putting yourself in positions where luck will find you. And so it's kind of like that. Like, sure, she might have been like, you want this opportunity, but then you might have been like, Rick Blangiardi, like I'm not ready for that, or whatever, like it's a combination, I think, that gets people to the next.
100%. I think, the whole genesis of me being there was that like, I'm just hungry for an opportunity. Yep. Whatever that opportunity is going to be. And that's why even I went for this account executive, not knowing a ton about what it was. I knew it was sales oriented. I'm like, I'm at Roots Chris. I can slang steaks. Did that somewhat transfer? But, just having that kind of mindset and idea of, okay, I need an opportunity. If I find an opportunity, like, what are we going to do with that? And even when I did get the opportunity, so I got hired in 2014, and the only thing he had was part-time. So he said, okay, you can do part-time here, but we don't have anything full-time available. So when I first started, I was part-time at Hawaii News Now in the evening. And then on the days that I didn't have that, I still worked my restaurant job. So this was 10, and I would go back and forth.
And so how long did you do that for?
I did that for about like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then a full-time position opened. And then they offered it to me because I had been there. And I was kind of
you paid the dues. Yeah, you're continuing to pay your dues.
That is just like how it works in so many situations. You just like put yourself in that position, and then they're like, oh, Kainoa's there. Like, Kainoa could probably do this. And just the next. I was just talking with my Rise High board about, I had a similar situation because I actually interned at KGMB. It was before it became Hawaii News Now. So I was like at UH Hilo, and I was like wanted to be in news too. And then I was like calling in scores to Liz Chun, who was like at that time the sports director at KGMB. So I would like get on the phone and be like, hey Liz, the volleyball scores, blah, blah, blah. And then one day she's usually like, okay, thanks, bye. But one day I was like, hey Liz, like, are you looking for an intern? And she's like, actually, yeah, if you want to come up and like meet the team. And she didn't know I was just like this big island girl, and like changed my whole entire life to go be her intern and like show up. And Liz is like, who are you? I'm like, remember you and Shiloh? Like,
It's me from the phone.
I transferred schools. I like moved my whole life up here. And
The
she's like,
score
oh.
is
I know.
She's like, oh, I guess you can come in. But that was like the foot in the door, you know? So sometimes you just gotta like take advantage of those opportunities when it comes.
It is, and that's the I always look at it as it's like a twofold process, right? Because half the battle is getting the foot in the door, like getting the opportunity, right? And then the second tier comes from like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with the opportunity?
How do you seize that moment?
How do you seize the moment? Like, how are you going to get to where you want to go? The opportunity's there now. It's like, he's like, I can give you an opportunity, but it's part-time. Like what you do with that, how much you want to invest, that's a decision you need to make. And I was like, okay, as long as I'm in here, I can meet people, I can figure this thing out. Like, what does a reporter look like? How do they sound? How does the research go? What goes into being a sportscaster? And so at the time, the sportscaster at Hawai'i News Now was Mike Cherry. And but what was so inspiring and cool was that the weekend anchor at the time was Mark Carpenter. And Mark Carpenter and me were similar age, local boys. He's Kamehameha, but I forgive him. Nah. But similar age. And he had the week. So I am looking at Mark like, okay, it's possible. Like this brother is doing it. Like, how does he do it? And so he was so great too about, sharing knowledge. But that's what it is. It's getting your foot in the door with the opportunity. But I tell people all the time, it's like, that's just the first part. Like, what are you doing now?
It's the work you still have to put in.
Totally.
Like that's just the beginning.
Yep. Oh, that's good.
That's good advice.
Super, that's
everybody is in that situation or is going to be in that situation. So it's like, what do you do? And like, it happened for you early on, but like a lot of people get opportunities even later in life. So it's like, what do you do with that? And what kind of work do you have to put in to make it work?
And I always share with like younger, the kids or like the teens who are like just kind of finding themselves and trying to like figure out what they want to do. It's that kind of mindset, or it's that kind of like, just like motivation, go-getter. Because I feel like maybe, I don't know. I just feel like the generation now, it's like a little bit awkward, I don't know. I just, kids, I'll be like, I will take any intern, like if you want to intern or you want to just shadow, like I welcome that. Like I want to be able to pass on the things that I've learned. And I say this to the kids that I talk to in like high schools, but then they're so awkward. It's like, oh, but should I send you an email? Like, just come up and talk to me.
It's a different generation.
I don't know.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
100%. Even when it comes to, like the interns are always an interesting concept now because it almost feels like the definition of that, or like how that looks has changed, the way that that's perceived. Like, for example, right, High Now has been great. My career up to this point has been fantastic and a blessing in every way. But it's been like 10 years in the making of getting to this point. So necessarily when people are starting out, it's like, okay, I want that.
Right.
I want that. Like, I want to host a podcast. I want, and no one's saying that you can't, but obviously there's certain things that you got to learn, and like just having more of a affinity for wanting to build your craft.
I like that.
Like, and it's like, it's social media. It's just a different time with that, but it's the immediacy, I think.
Right.
That instant gratification.
Of what the next generation, up and coming season. I'm not trying to age and say, it's not that. It's more so of like you're seeing like
all the successes.
Exactly.
I totally
Uncut Hawaii.
Yeah.
What, 5 seasons? How many?
Sort of. We're
almost 100 episodes.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Almost 100 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting though, because when interns are coming, it's like, that's a lot of time invested to get into 100 episodes.
Yeah. And it does that consistency and like that grind, because I'm like, anybody can start a podcast for sure. But I'm always like, I don't really worry, and I celebrate other people doing it because it's so much work. It's like so much work. Everybody else sees like, oh, the show is cool, the reels are cool, whatever. It looks so easy. Just go and talk to people. But I'm like, there's a lot that goes on behind it, Yeah,
when we first started this too, we were just like, we didn't know what kind of beast we were getting into, right? We're like, let's just do it. I think like us, like instead of like sitting there and planning and thinking about it and whatnot, let's just execute, let's do it and learn as we go. And like doing that, and then like I think the big one is remaining consistent. Like that was a big one for us. And
there's all that work that people don't really see, that,
it's like that
sometimes when you
success.
do it's like, am I really willing to put in all that work? Actually 10 years just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. it's a long time to wait.
Uh-huh.
And I
Yeah,
think
and it's
maybe-
like, keep in mind, right? So, but I've been on air since 2018.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
first 5
Yeah.
is just grinding.
grinding.
The
yeah.
first 5
whatever
is
position you can get.
rolling
yeah.
the teleprompter. Hey, bro, you got to come work this weekend. Sunrise, 5 a.m. Oh, okay. Shoots. Oh, hey, so and so called in sick. Like we need a. So my progression at the station was I went from prompter, and in the end, it made me totally better for it. But I went from the prompter to making graphics for the show. Hey, a traffic light will be out up at Kalaniana Ole. Ping, and then a little traffic light. I'm like, oh, I made
That was you.
I mean, yeah.
and then the little so I went from graphics into editing,
Okay.
and then into working as a camera we call them videographers, photographers
Yeah.
for the new. So the progression was boom to, and that was 5 years of all behind the camera.
Yeah.
So
Like-
how does all of those experience kind of like culminate and like change you, the person like you are today?
Mm-hmm.
Like how does that help where you are now?
Oh, incredibly, because I think I'm such a better storyteller for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because coming from behind the lens, you're kind of realizing more and more how do you make a good story?
Yeah.
What creates a good
You, like,
story?
understand all the
What is the
elements.
basis for that? Obviously, it's going out, getting interviews and getting sound bites, but like sitting down with all those sound bites, crafting a story, putting a story together. So like that whole process is probably one of the things about reporting I kind of miss, because reporters, that's what they're doing every day.
Yeah.
Going out,
Finding the story.
finding stories and telling stories, and sadly not all good stories.
Yeah, because you have to turn something for the evening show. Like regardless, like you're gonna spend a whole day, you gotta get something on the air.
Yeah, I'm at that station every day, and it's not all good stories. It's
Yeah.
not all good news. There's a lot of heavy days,
Yeah.
and there's ups and
Oh,
there's
especially
downs.
lately, huh? Yeah.
Especially lately, just
Yeah.
with everything that takes place here. But going through all of those experiences have really kind of prepped me for kind of doing what I'm doing now, which is lifestyle TV hosting, which.
It's got to be the greatest job in the world. You must get that all the time.
I
Like,
do.
okay, you get paid to go and eat all this food.
Let's live life.
And
Yeah,
check out all these new places, talk to people.
It is. It's incredible. But I tell people all the time, so aside from that, yes, it is amazing. But I think the great thing and kind of the genesis for what High Now is too is just celebrating the lifestyle here in Hawaii, but also just all the incredible businesses and entrepreneurs and everything that is here in Hawaii. It's seriously mind-blowing. Like it is crazy.
There's
Like
so much talent here.
there's so much, and people are doing so much in all these like varieties of different industries.
Yeah.
The food is one thing, and then the local businesses are one thing, and then people are making goods and services, and we celebrate these events and fundraisers that are coming up so that we can get the word out to tell the community about, hey, check out this incredible event that's taking place. This is how you can help. Because it almost feels like, especially here in Hawaii, like the kokua is there.
Yep.
Like people are willing to, but we got to get it out. Like what is the best way to do it? What is the easiest way for you to support like what's taking place? And that's
That's
what
true.
that's
Yeah.
what High Now has been kind of cool about. Is like we bring people on, local businesses, local entrepreneurs, and we just feature. Like look at how
Yeah.
incredible this thing is.
Yeah, what a gift to be able to give, but also you get like a front row seat to seeing like all these things. Like you probably like drive around here and be like, oh, so and so is doing that over there, so and so is doing that over there. Like so much going on, and you get to like experience it and
have,
bring
like,
it to
yeah.
the rest of us. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have a great story just to kind of capture that, is because like we get to see sometimes like these great success stories, not sometimes, all the time. We get
Yep.
to see these great success stories of people starting out 3 seasons ago on High Now here, and then they're over here. So one good example is Oloho Designs over on Hawaii Island.
Yeah.
Shreya, but like, so the very first time we interviewed her on High Now was back in 2021-ish, and she had like all these sketches and her clothes. It was women's wear, it was men's wear, and it was all kind of, it was at her mom's house. She was doing her whole thing there. 2 years later, she's now done New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We went to New York to watch it, and she's in a full-blown brick and mortar now in Hilo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and so it's like we roll into her store, and I'm like, man, and we still talk about that. Like, I remember when we were
That's
first
cool.
talking story, and now look at, here you are now in your own spot, and it's cool to see these great success
Be a
stories.
part
kind
of
Be
the
a part of
story.
that journey,
yeah,
Yeah,
story.
we
It's incredible.
We've gotten like a little taste of that too, because like we'll have like like Kaylana on, and then she's talking about like one day she's like thinking about moving to New York, and she's actually doing it now.
She's
I'm
like in New
holy.
York.
And like we're just celebrating with her, and like
Or like
dang,
Magic Mike talking about like stand-up comedy.
Yeah, and then he just had his first show. I mean, so
Just being
many
a part of
those.
that
It's cool.
story,
Like
yeah.
we as people in this space, we get a front row seat to see these like incredible. Like I remember interviewing Tua in high school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa in high
now
school.
And
That's
now, crazy. Yeah.
I like when I was a sports reporter before I got into lifestyle hosting, we were all there at the Heisman Trophy in New York City, like looking at each other like this is
what?
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
Like you know, just
And
all
now
of the
seeing
talent.
him play every weekend too.
It's unreal.
It's also like another like layer of appreciation that you have where you see them like before, you know, like when they're grinding, like when they're like in the hard parts, and then when you see like the success, it's like, wow. It gives you like so much. I don't know. I'm like super inspired by their stories. I'm like, wow, they're like really doing it. Like that, what they said that they wanted to do, they're doing it. That's so cool.
And I think that's why
Absolutely.
your platform is amazing too. Like you said, being able to share those stories and just like celebrating them, and then for everyone to see and support, and then to be able to track that progress, kind of, too. You know, kind
Yeah.
of sick.
Yeah.
It is. It's nice. And it's been a great kind of like extension of Hawaii News Now, because obviously like the news is the news, and those stories have to be told. But Hi Now is basically that space like a buffer to just, this is what's good that's happening here in Hawaii. This is a great event that's taking place. This weekend we're supporting local nonprofit organizations. This is where it's at. This is where this is how you can help. Oh, and then on top of that, we got this great local business coming in that does Mexican food. Or so it's more of the happenings and kind of what's taking place and supporting these local businesses.
Kind of grinding for all those years, and then how did this like Hi Now idea kind of come into fruition?
I mean,
How did that opportunity come up?
The pivot was like how most people pivoted during pandemic 2020. So it was actually crazy. So at 2020, previous to the pandemic, I'm living like basically my dream. I'm a sports reporter.
Sports reporter.
I've got the gig. I'm doing my thing. I'm sports reporting. I'm covering high school sports, college sports. I mean, and I felt like I was so spoiled during that time period. We're talking, okay, University of Hawaii men's volleyball.
Yeah, crushing it. Yeah.
Just crushing it. National champs all the time. Tua is at Alabama.
Yep.
He's arguably like the biggest star in college sports. Marcus Mariota is still starting in the NFL. He's in Tennessee at the time. Carissa Moore is dominating the women's circuit.
So you always have news.
Surfing is going to be an Olympic sport. John Florence qualified.
Yes,
So like I go out to Waimea for that. It was just crazy.
You're
like
just constantly writing about
it was
all
just
this.
a nice, it was a super slick time. Punahou was doing not bad, but Kahuku was dominating. St. Louis was dominating. But it was incredible time to be a sportscaster. But so 2020 hits, this thing COVID happens. And so at the time, Hi Now has been on the air for 5 years now, and the show started with Kainoa Gibson and JoBeth DeVera. Those were the first two hosts for the show. But so 2020 happens. They say, hey, JoBeth is getting ready to transition. She was moving to the mainland, and we want to bring in a male for the lifestyle thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing sports.
I'm loving this right now.
This is not bad. Yeah, we were doing that thing too called the Nick Rolovich show.
Oh,
so Kainoa Leahy was hosting that. We were helping to produce that with him. Like that was incredible. We traveled the whole country watching UH football.
Yeah.
It was
what?
previous. I had no kid. It was
Dream job.
It was cool. But yeah, so 2020, she was transitioning out, and they had asked me about lifestyle hosting. I'm like, oh, that's a little different. But then I almost kind of was looking at it like, okay, here it is. This is like opportunity. Opportunity is being presented to you. And again, the opportunity is there. Like, okay, so what do I do with it? So I say, you know what? I'm down. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a try. And luckily, when I transitioned in, I cannot say how sweet Kainoa Gibson was enough. She was like incredible, because lifestyle hosting, very different.
Yeah.
Different
energy.
Sports, like,
yeah.
Hey, how's it, Aloy, everybody? It's 14-7 out here. It's a great game. Auntie's giving out lay in the back. Hey, look at this local. It's just a different delivery. It's a different tone. So honestly, the first thing I did was I went and I did my homework. So I went and I would spend like a good portion of my mornings watching Michael Strahan and Jesse Palmer. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but so now Jesse Palmer does the Hollywood, but similar paths, because both of those guys came from the sports world. Michael Strahan went from sports to anchoring to hosting Good Morning America. So I'd watch like a ton of Michael Strahan and a ton of Jesse Palmer, just kind of like, okay, how does this transition? And what does that look like? What does that sound like? And so 2020 happened, transitioned into Hi Now. 3 years later, it's been incredible. We won an Emmy in 2021. That was for our Keiki Hula segments that we had put together for that. And it's been amazing. And then especially being kind of like being like Native Hawaiian, I recognize too, like my kuleana to what this space means. And just growing up here in Hawaii, right? It's a different, I say it all the time, it's a different affinity here in Hawaii for people that we see in TV, because it's almost like it's like family over here.
Yeah.
Like people know that, like auntie is like, that is my auntie.
Yeah.
Like aunties just roll up at the mall. They're like, hey, we saw you in the morning. And so it's been different in that way. But the transition happened during COVID, and now 3 years later, it's been the best career move I could have made.
Nice.
Do you still have that like magnetism towards sports? Like, I'm sure you still do sports stories, right? More lifestyle-y. But it's almost like when I think about this, it reminds me of like Steve's journey too, because Steve went from sports. He was a sports reporter, sports anchor, and then like got thrown onto Sunrise, and that's still newsy, but it's more lifestyle than news.
Yeah, it's a different feeling, different tone. But and like Steve has been a great mentor and someone to kind of look at and kind of follow. Like I feel like that's what's been so great is to see these guys, like good, solid local examples of like the way to do it and the right way to do it. Steve, Sean Ching, he was at Hawaii News Now during my time too, but all sports guys who started in sports, transitioning into other things. So I'm like seeing it, realizing like, okay, maybe there's something else.
Yeah. What has been like some highlight moments over the last 3 years?
Ooh, that's a good one. Some highlight moments for sure got to be probably near the top is definitely going to New York for New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Like I had been there. That was last year. I went 2 years, but I'd been to New York before for work. We covered when Tua was up for the Heisman Trophy, which like that was an incredible experience. But going up for New York Fashion Week was incredible.
Different energy,
Different energy, and I am obviously not by any means a model of any kind, but going up there and seeing just like how respected, admired, and loved Hawaiian culture is so far away from home is just super inspiring. You feel very proud to be from Hawaii. You feel very proud to like carry those traditions. And then, but to see it on a stage like that, the first year we went, it was Maika Kamohoali'i designs, DBK. And then the second year we went, it was Sharia with Oloho and Jaden Kim from Lotus and Lime.
Wow.
But you see like the respect and like the love and even the aloha that they have for Hawaii fashion.
Being able to showcase it on that big stage too,
Yeah, it's super cool. And it's so funny too. Like anywhere you go, I feel like in Hawaii and like Hawaii people just find each other.
Yeah.
You roll into New York, everyone's like, I'm like, who said that? Yeah, like we had like just gotten off the plane and we were like rolling into the first thing, and it was like a random brother like, oh yeah, I live here now. We're like, what's up? And then we're like end up cruising, drinking with this guy all night. So it's like, but that's up there. New York Fashion Week is up there. Another one that's up there for me for Haina was we had the opportunity to spend a couple days in Lanai.
Beautiful.
Which was beautiful. And just different and special. It was all part of their destination management action plan. They're just looking at, better ways to utilize current resources without putting a strain so much on them, because obviously with people coming and just the best way to do that. But it was eye-opening in a lot of ways, just to kind of go to Lanai, talk to people on Lanai, and just see what the vibe is like over there.
It's different.
Yeah. And
But
especially
still,
me,
like
I'm a thoroughbred Oahu boy. Like I'll own it. I am.
Yeah.
Like the whole Lanai is a different pace.
There's like one restaurant, like one store, a bank, and there's that one little roundabout, right?
Yeah.
But people are so, I love that vibe, that like small town, because I'm from a small town. It's like everybody's just like so, where are you from? They just like start talking story. Yeah, I love Lanai.
What are some challenges that you faced over like the last decade?
Challenges.
Was there ever a time where you're like, oh man, I'm like, is this it, or like, do I need to do something else, or like?
Yeah, no, there's many challenges, but gosh, I feel like the tough part is I think the hardest thing will still always be just the way that media is perceived. That's always going to be a difficult thing. Anytime you go on TV and you're talking about anything, in whatever respect and whatever regard it's going to be, it's always going to be met with a bit of, a bit of conflict. And so that's been, and so the tough part is too, right? Especially being here in Hawaii, it's a good chance you know them or you're related or you're.
Someone knows someone.
Yeah. And like, as we said before, like not all stories are great to talk about. So that's always a challenge. But like, I feel like the important part is you got to walk in your truth, like when those things are happening, when those things are coming out. I don't deal with it as much now on the high now side because we celebrate a lot more with what's taking place. But that's always a challenge is going out and having tough conversations with people who maybe don't want to talk about what we're talking about or the way it's perceived when the conversation is power. Yeah. Which is always tough.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the correct roadmap is for that, but like that's what I would say too is you gotta walk in your truth and know that, be authentic and know that when you're sitting down, you have the right intentions with what it is that you're doing, with what it is that you're saying. You don't control the conversation. You're not controlling how the way they're answering or what's being said. So it's always tough.
Don't read the comments.
Yeah, stay out of the comments best as you can.
That's like similar to what like Steve and even Ash said. It's like, don't shoot the messenger. We're just like here to bring as balanced a story as possible. But everybody has an opinion and everybody has, has something to say about it. So I feel for our news people because it's like, it's tough. Like a lot of times you don't want to go and like be talking about this thing that's happening, but like at the same time, like we're wanting to know about it. So it's like a two-edged, like somebody's got to deliver the news.
How did you deal with like those feelings, like those, like, after like feeling that conflict or the backlash? Like, how did you deal with that?
I think a lot of it is, especially in our field too, is you got to lean on your colleagues. Like people, like you have your stone cold chiseled vets who like have been in this biz 15, 20 plus, seen it all, been called every name in the book, have been yelled at, sworn at in public, like, and it's, you realize like that's just part of the territory that you walk in, right? Like that's just, it comes with that. But that was a big part, is like kind of leaning and having those tough conversations with colleagues, guiding you kind of through that. That's certainly been a help, but it's a constant battle.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Constant battle. Yeah.
I love that like hardness that comes with the newsroom too. Cause like when you first start out there, it's like you take everything so personally, but then you like talk to somebody like Brenda and she's just like so like removed from it. She's just like, doesn't matter. Like, that's just kind of like a good way to like approach things. It's like, it's not personal, just doing my job.
100%. I think it was leaning on the colleagues and then realizing that, the very next day you had to get up and you're going to be doing something completely different. Like it's almost kind of like processing it, understanding it, but realizing that like, okay, you know what, tomorrow, new story.
Yeah,
new day. I'm talking to someone completely different. Like, so that's kind of the way that I've personally navigated it. Obviously, everyone has a different recipe for the best way to do it. But I leaned a lot on colleagues and just realizing that, like, okay, tough day, that Monday story. Tuesday's a new day. We'll reset. And then so will Wednesday, so will Thursday. And that even kind of like helps me on the live. When I watch my live show with High Now, oh man, there's some cringy. I'm like, oh man, I didn't love that. And then I go on, I watch the replay. I'm like, okay, tomorrow let's get it right. Like let's pace, pace, slow yourself down. But it's just that opportunity to do something else the next day.
Nice. It's good advice too.
Yeah. So away from the newsroom, like you have two little ones, 2 under 2, which gives me like a little bit of chicken skin because I remember those days. It's hard. How do you what's kind of like any routines or any things that you like lean on to make sure that you're good, like ready to be on TV and, just in a good place?
Yeah, I feel like maybe like in the last 6 to 8 months or so, I've been really trying to do my best of like putting the phone down. That's been like the biggest thing for me, is when I come home from work, like just putting the phone in the closet, leave it in there and just being present with the babies. Because, in this day and age of communication, it's tough. Like the show is going, I'm looking back at the show. Okay, that was good. And then maybe I'm texting. I don't know if I like that shot or I'm not sure if that conversation worked, but I was so enamored, which I don't know if I'll ever lose that, to be quite honest. That's just kind of always been like in there, constantly under looking at ways to fix it.
That's everyone.
Tweak it, get it better. But I mean, to answer your question, it's just trying to be more present with the babies.
Yeah,
has been my and then I feel better about it going into work with more of a reset mentally, getting ready for the day. Because to be honest, it's tough. I work a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a total workaholic.
And it's not a 9-to-5 job.
It's not a 9-to-5 job, and that's not including weekends and other things that I got to do. So I'm really trying to prioritize being more present when I'm easier said than done, though. I'm a work in progress for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel
all
that.
are.
Yeah.
What about some, I don't know, some people do like meditation or, you know,
do you have any like health
specific
routines or
kind
anything?
I mean, I try and work out in the morning. For me, I'm a former athlete, so my day, I'm the 6 a.m. workout.
Yep. Get it,
100%.
get it done.
If I'm letting it kind of chill out to the end of the day, I know I won't get to it. So try and stay active as I can, especially if you've ever watched Kainoa. Oh my gosh, the food. It's unreal. Like we get so much good chefs who come in and up and coming chefs and other culinary practices, and we do so much food. It's crazy the amount of food that comes to the show. It's like if I don't work out, I'm be 400 pounds guaranteed. And I can grind. Like I know I can grind. My sports days, I look back, I'm like, whoa. It's like I ate the old Kainoa my whole sports career, and like I'm slowly shriveling back down. But I gotta work out, and then I play golf, but terribly. So that's not a super good mental.
Golf is fun though.
Yeah, golf's fun.
Yeah.
We have some questions from Instagram.
Oh,
Pull them up.
sweet.
It's an ex-girlfriend or something. No, I'm just kidding.
No comment.
Kamaka Diaz 8 says to the reel that we posted of you working, what were you doing in that reel?
Oh, we were. Okay, so we have a social media person, Jordan. She's 22 and knows all
in there
the
with
TikTok,
the trends.
In there with the TikTok trends. Like I've totally missed the bus on TikTok. She is totally enamored with it. I have no idea what we're doing. No, apparently it's like a fitness test
If you can go down and come up
to test how flexible or fit you are. Yeah. What were we doing? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No. The question,
did it.
the question from Kamaka Diaz 8 is, are those guns legal in Hawaii? But serious one. Let's see. We have Brittany K asking, how would you describe yourself in, this is funny, not 7 words. How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
3 words.
Yes.
Okay. Funny. Witty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hungry.
That's perfect for your job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think I've got a decent wit on me because I work with Rachel. I got to stay sharp.
Yeah,
She's funny too.
What's your favorite food? Or what's your go-to? Or I guess what are you in the mood for right now?
Oh man, what am I in the mood for right now? I spent some time in the minutes. I'm definitely gonna say something with rice, and I'm a sucker for mac salad.
Yeah,
mac salad is my
growing up here.
Mac salad with everything.
Mac salad with everything.
Yes.
Like I almost kind of want
What's
to.
your go-to mac salad spot?
Yeah,
then?
that was my question.
Okay, KJ's is up there for me.
Yep.
Who's
You're
been
right
to
up there
KJ's in
too.
Kaneohe?
Oh, I love KJ's. The way they do it too.
KJ's is up there.
What is special? What is special about their mac salad?
I was just gonna say, Andrew, there's a few special things happening.
Yeah,
with
there's
that
a lot.
mac salad.
Do
First
they
of
put
all,
the
it's not
tuna?
mac. They put tuna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the spaghetti noodle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
So
like you're
that's-
eating another carb dish with your rice
That could
and the
be
fried chicken.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I gotta make
And that's a
out there
heavy
now.
one. Like you're going down.
Yeah.
Like I eat KJ's for lunch. It's
Oh, yeah.
can
Not
you
doing
jump in the
anything.
meeting? I'm probably not. Probably not.
I'll be there physically.
I'll take notes. Yeah.
Can you do the fitness test? Probably not.
Yeah. Definitely not after that. Yeah. That's a good one. This has
Okay.
got good mac salad. W&M has good.
Oh yeah, W&M.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got the crab with some peas.
Ooh, the peas.
Yeah. There's some crab. Yeah. It's crab mayo.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
a really good mac salad too.
Okay. So mac salad is
Oh,
the
and
answer.
the
Final
bald
answer?
guy, the bald guy food truck.
Oh, I haven't
I
had
gotta
that
shout
yet.
them out. Oh,
Where
he
are
makes
they?
good mac salad. They're on the North Shore.
He was
Okay.
on Netflix.
He was on Netflix.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
part of the food truck
The
race, and
street
he
food
did
and-
the
yeah.
show at Lanai too.
Yep.
That guy's
I'm gonna
mac
go.
salad is serious.
But what else does he serve besides mac salad?
Like
Is it
poke
like
kalbi,
Okay,
Oh,
local food.
garlic
Yeah.
shrimp. Yeah.
Okay.
He makes great food.
Yeah. The
My-
3-word question was funny because the last guest we had, they said describe yourself in 7 words.
I know.
Oh,
She's
We're
like,
like
wow.
7.
7.
That's hard.
She's like running out of
hard.
adjectives
Yeah.
after a while. Okay, but my mom's mac salad is probably like,
Oh.
I haven't had a mac salad that was better than my mom's.
My
Oh my
mom's
gosh.
too.
Yeah.
The tuna for sure. She puts eggs, carrot.
tomato.
Yeah.
I'm not tomato.
Oh, I was like,
Potato.
I was like,
potato.
tomato.
Potato mac, but I
Yeah.
don't know something about. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to make it. So
Oh,
You gotta
gotta get that.
learn.
Yeah,
I
You
do
gotta
need to
learn.
learn.
Yeah.
But she just makes it so good. So I'm just like, Mom, can you just make the mac salad, please? Thanks. Okay.
Okay, if you guys both bring mac salad, you guys can come on high now.
Okay.
But you guys got to bring mac salad.
We got. We'll do the.
Mom, I'm gonna put my order in now.
Yes.
No, you gotta make it.
Oh, I have to make it? Oh, okay. I got to start practicing then. Okay. Roy_simple wants to know what makes you confident on live TV?
I think what makes me confident on live TV is anticipating that things can/do/always go wrong. Is almost anticipating something not working. I don't know if it makes me confident or just a little bit more at ease. Because so many, as you guys know too, like when things are happening, a mic will go down, a battery will go down, a light will pop out, or kind of just anticipating that nothing is ever as smooth as it could 100% be. And even if it was, don't expect that to happen the next day. So I almost think what makes me a little bit more at ease and confident is just realizing the pacing of things and understanding if I lose something, being able to know what to do next.
Yeah.
Not putting all your eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
essentially. Like, okay, 100%, this is what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Until the camera rolls, and then it's like, oh, no, they don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They actually asked if we don't talk about that. So,
Yeah.
understanding, being flexible. Yeah.
Setting like realistic expectations and then being able to like problem solve.
I think people honestly appreciate that because, it's like they can really, it's relatable when they see you like kind of maybe stumble upon something or, just not
'Cause that
be
makes you,
so
like, human.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because there's that tendency, right, to want to just be perfect. Even Andrew and I, I'm like, oh, like we messed that intro, like let's start again, but we were just having this conversation, like, if we mess up, we should just keep it in because we want people to know, like, this is real, we're real, things sometimes happen and
100%.
deal with it.
Although
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little bit more cognizant of how many times I've said the word like. So if I go
Yeah.
back and I drink some beers.
when we
Yeah.
listen to
when we listen to ourselves, we're like, oh,
I know.
stop it.
I'm trying to stop like and absolutely.
absolutely is a
Absolutely.
big
Those
one.
are my two. Like I go back and I watch episodes and because again, I'm always trying to fix
Yeah.
or get better or
It's
oh my
constant
gosh.
growth.
If I took a sip of tequila every time I said absolutely throughout the thing, that
We
would
could
be tough.
actually make
We
that
forgot,
happen.
yeah.
That would
We
be
could
tough.
actually
That's a good
make
segue, actually.
All right. Since we are in the holiday season, we're going to have a little share one thing that we're grateful for.
Shout out to Kapena Tequila.
Yes.
Shout out. Thank you for this amazing Lihimui tequila.
Look at the color.
I
on it.
know.
Wow.
It looks very holiday.
That's what's so great about all these local companies, though, is infusing the flavors that Hawaii people know and grew up
I
on.
know.
It's like, wait, Lihi Moi tequila?
Cannot go wrong.
Like, how could
That's-
you make tequila better? Okay, infuse Hawaii flavors. Got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And okay, you're gonna go home with a bottle of this. So what you do is you do this and then add some ginger beer and add some lemon peel, like just cut it up real small, mix it together. It is so good. I promise you can't even drink just one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, Gabe.
Cheers, Gabe. That's dangerous.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Mike, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, you go first.
Wow. Okay, on the spot. This holiday season, Thanksgiving, I just had Emery. She made 2 months today, so I'm very grateful for her. Grateful for family. Grateful for mom. Like she's been a beast through this thing, and kind of just
Shout
like
out to
unlocked another
Megan.
level of love for
Yeah.
your significant other. And so, cheers to you, Emery and Megan. Grateful for family.
Love that. Well, 100% family would be my answer.
Yep.
But since you went
Yeah.
first, I'm gonna switch it. I would say I'm grateful for opportunity. I'm grateful for the opportunities that 2023 provided, but I'm looking forward to the opportunities that 2024 will present.
Nice. Big theme of this episode. You just
I
seized all the opportunities
know.
that came to you. So
Yes.
cheers to that too.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Oh, you
Cheers.
guys took the two good ones that I wanted.
See,
to
why'd you go
share.
last?
I know. I should have gone first. All right. Definitely family. Definitely opportunities. I think, like, living in Hawaii, I just, with everything going on in the world, I always like come back to like, man, we're so lucky to live here. Just like the best people, and like you just wake up and you're like, holy smokes, like every day is beautiful. We're so lucky. You know, a lot of people have had to move away during COVID, and like just to be able to still live here is such a blessing. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
All right. So what's next for you?
Yeah, what's next for me is 2024. We're looking forward at more projects that are gonna come up here. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but maybe another live element to what we do on High Now Daily. It'd be a different element that
you're like teasing us hard right now.
Yeah, it'd be a different element that right now I'll say it's not being done just yet in our market and in our industry for what we're doing. Very kind of ground floor of it right now, but we're looking at hopefully a new live element coming up.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. I love how like with Hawaii News now that whole, you got like McKenna's show, and there's like pushing the boundaries of, TV and like what TV looks like local TV.
And it's incredible. Like E.T. was just here. I don't know if you guys saw that. Entertainment Tonight was over, and Kevin Frazier and their whole crew was down at the Sheraton filming.
Cool.
But it is really cool because Hawaii News now is owned by Gray Media, which is obviously in the mainland and stuff. But when they come here and they see our market and what a lot of the content that people here in Hawaii, not just Hawaii News Now, but like just the content that takes place in our market, like they're kind of blown away. They actually kind of take separate entities of what we do here and try and find success with it at other markets. Like we've been told that. So it's pretty cool to kind of,
I mean, the production quality is like so high, and like whenever I travel and I'm watching the local news, I'm like, whoa, it's not what I'm used to seeing on TV. So I love that Hawaii is a leader in so many like industries, and I think a lot of people are looking towards Hawaii for like to be the model for whether it's like in culinary or like perform, like singing,
everything. Just
entertainment.
Going back to like Hawaii has so much talent. And it's like finally being showcased, I think. It's always been around, right? But it's like finally being showcased at a different level, and people are starting to realize even more now, So it's cool to see like all of that being celebrated, and
definitely. And I think what's so important too is that we have these people that are in these various positions that are doing so well, but it's great because you can tell they're raised the right way and they're doing it. Like the perfect example, I've been talking about him like is Tua and Iam.
Iam.
Look at the way this brada holds it down and represents for what it means to be like a good local boy. That's what that looks like. Like loses pops, could have easily went the other way. Like how it happens here in Hawaii, right? People come into adversity like that. It goes different, but like
stuck to his craft.
You're looking at this brother like, wow, representing Hawaii and doing it that way, with the North. It's just
so
it's incredible.
Authentically too, like
the slippers,
I'm like,
so much lovable qualities.
Singing Kalohe Kai on like on the live stage, everything, all of that, just coming back home to celebrate. And
oh, yeah. That still gives me chicken skin when I think about his journey and like how Hawaii was just like so proud. I've never, ever voted before for anything, and then like, I'm like 10, whatever, max votes.
Text
so
everyone, like text it.
No, likewise. It was crazy. We had the whole family thread, like, and now. Me, my sister, my brothers, my dad does not text. He's still behind. But,
that's the magic of Hawaii, like always coming together to support. All right, so I was
gonna say before we wrap up, what's one thing about you that not a lot of people know about that people should know about?
Oh, that they should know.
Or like you would want people to know.
Want people to know.
Okay, maybe one thing I want people to know is that, so I'll just, I'll give you an example, but so recently, earlier this year, a couple months back, I lost my gramps. So that was about, I mean, he lived an amazing life, 93 years. But I think, what's one thing that doesn't get talked about enough or like isn't giving like enough affinity is that when you're able to do something and get to a place in your life where you've always wanted to go and be, and then have the circle of people who you know it means so much to you to have them there for that they're still there.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
That's
get talked
huge.
about. You just became a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you have your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, that's incredible. Like, so my grandpa, I told him I wanted to be in TV for a long time, but you know, he passed knowing like, wow, this guy got to
Got to witness.
like
be
I don't
there.
need to think like, oh man, I wonder what my gramps would have thought if I could like get to that point. But
Yeah.
it, like that doesn't get talked about a lot.
I love
Yeah, I love
that.
that.
Is that
Yeah.
like, and even with Uncut Hawaii, and everything that it's going to, but just, going to that point, having the people that
Yeah.
you want it,
That-
it means just as much to that, and having them get to see it and
Yep.
be with you. And
Yeah.
you don't got to wonder like, oh, I wonder how that would have been or
Oh,
what they
yeah,
would have
that's
said.
a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it was cool because my gramps passed, but he was like, "Man, I can't."
He actually
you know,
got
even
to
in the
see.
last days, he was like, "Dude, I still get a trip when I see you."
Yeah, I see on TV. Yeah.
But I realize more and more, especially now, it's like, well, not everyone is so fortunate. Like
Yeah.
not everyone is so lucky.
Yeah.
So that's one thing people should kind of really think about.
I
Not
love
take that for
that.
granted
I love
either.
that. We just talked to Kayy Shimizu, and she was talking about the song that she sang for her like debut episode on The Voice was kind of like a tribute to her grandpa who she had, or great grandpa who had just passed. And, she started to get emotional because of it, because she said that he was the reason that he would always like encourage her and be like, I love when you sing for me. And so he passed before that happened, but she said, it took this whole village around her to get to the point that she's at, including her grandpa. So if you're saying like you actually get to see their reaction and get to share that moment with them,
And
like
have
what
those
a
conversations
gift.
Yeah.
and think like you're luckier than you think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think like, man, I just want to like live until I can at least see my grandbabies,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like I said, that was cool because he passed. But I was like, wow, I don't have to think about like what he would have thought if I was doing what I'm doing. I get to know that I was doing all right.
That's
you know?
amazing.
So that's cool.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's a great way to end this. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Go have those
Don't-
conversations
yeah.
with your
Don't-
family, with your people who
Yeah.
have like been there from the beginning. You know.
Don't
Love
take
that.
that for granted.
Don't-
Call your
yeah.
mom, call your dad,
Yeah.
call your grandparents.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that, especially in the spirit of the holidays. Like, it is a kako thing. Like, we share our
Yeah.
successes with our people. So, yeah. Oh, love that. All right. So, Hi Now Daily is on every day.
It's on every day at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Please
Right
tune
after this,
in.
he's about to go on live.
Yeah, and all the segments we do them, we post them at hinowdaily.com and on social media and all the various channels. And then I'm Kainoa Carlson TV, Instagram. Check me out.
Was
Nice.
Kainoa Carlson taken already?
I know.
You had to
I had to do the underscore.
TV.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like apparently there's another Kainoa Carlson out there in the ether somewhere.
Yeah, we talked about this with Kaylee too. Like I have the underscore, she has underscore. It's just like
I had
No
to do
other
like
Kobe
a-
Moser, though.
Nice.
got it.
nice.
The original.
Yeah. But yeah, no, thank you for being on the
Yeah,
show with
thank
us.
you
Thanks
so
for sharing
much.
your story and cheers to the
Thank you
holiday
guys so
season.
much for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.